Link seemed awfully eager to reach the next temple, and maybe that was a good thing, considering how many lives depended on how quickly her partner awakened each sage. But Navi couldn't help but wonder as she watched him descend the vertical cliff into the Death Mountain crater, clinging to the volcanic rock with sweaty palms as his feet scrambled for the next foothold below. The waves of searing heat coming off the lava pit made him perspire heavily and gasp for breath, but so far the enchanted tunic he wore seemed to be holding up well. Navi herself would soon have to take shelter under his red hat if the heat didn't let up. Fairies were tough, but not that tough. At long last, just when her nerves were nearly frayed past the breaking point, he reached a narrow ledge and paused to rest. Link swiped at the drenched hair that clung to his forehead in sticky spirals and cast a shaky grin at his fairy. "Summer always was my favourite season," he quipped. "You'd better rest for a minute before you keep going," Navi advised him, but Link shook his head and moved on, which forced her to flit after him quickly, wings drooping from the heat. "Hey! I'm serious! You don't look so good right now. I think the heat is going to your head. Can you at least have a drink of water or something?" Link said and waved a hand to brush aside her concern. "Didn't bring any. I wanted to save the bottles for potions." "And how many of them did you bring?" Link paused to rifle through his back, and then rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. One? Guess I must have forgotten to stop by the shop for more." "There's still time to go back." "But it's right there," Link said with a longing glance across the crater at the temple entrance. "So close." "The temple isn't going anywhere, Link," Navi insisted, bobbing around his head. "And if you want to live to see the rest of the temples, then you'd better start being more prepared. Come on! You're supposed to be a hero. You can't just ignore something as basic as stocking up on potions. You're not invincible, and we don't even know what's in there. And hey, are you listening to me?" The answer appeared to be a resounding no, as Link forged ahead without comment, scrambling around boulders and leaping short gaps with impunity and absolutely no regard for his own safety. Navi caught up to him at a larger gap, which had Link stymied for a moment, until he spotted the ruins of a bridge and used his hookshot to traverse the distance, but his foot slipped just as he wrenched it from the wood, and the fairy cried out when he ended up dangling only a few yards above the lava, fingertips just barely clinging to the rock. Navi covered her face with her hands, unable to watch as the rock crumbled and he began to fall, only for both of them to gasp in surprise when a slim, bandaged hand clasped his forearm and just barely saved him. The reprieve allowed Link to regain his grip on the ledge with his other hand, safe for the moment. Well, as safe as he could be with lava nipping at his toes. Navi wondered for the first time if it had occurred to him to don fireproof boots. "You should be more careful, hero," she grunted, lying flat on her stomach and clearly straining with the weight. But at least her position was stable enough that she could properly reprimand him. Not that Link seemed to be getting the message. He craned his head back to look up at Sheik, his face smeared with ash and his lips curving into a brilliant and eager smile that Navi had rarely seen since his awakening in the Temple of Time. And the Sheikia returned with a slight tilt of the head, red eyes crinkling at the corners and hinting at a smile of her own. As Sheik heaved the hero back onto the ledge and the two warriors lay side by side to catch their breath, Navi thought she'd finally figured out the source of Link's earlier enthusiasm, and she couldn't help but wonder if such enthusiasm was healthy.